Hey, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or any other source you all might be listening to this on. David here, bringing a message here. We're going to talk a little bit tonight. I'm going to give a couple more witnesses. I guess if you want to call it that. I've given you all so many witnesses as to how I am. This is something that the Father just showed me a couple months ago. And even though I knew it in the back of my mind, I just never gave it any thought to it. But anyway, we'll get into that here in a little bit. As I always do, I'm starting this out here, John 4, verses 23 and 24. But the hour cometh. Oh, I hate this highlight thing here. There we go. Get off there. There. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. It is time, and I mean it is. This is why I had this with just the hour is, because there is no more that the hour cometh. We are in that hour. That we got to stop looking at the Bible as a big puzzle book. Oh, we got to stop looking at it as things are going to happen exactly how they're going to happen. You got to realize that the Bible is. I need to show that real quick. James 1. Do that. It's doing it live. Go to James 1, 21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. The Bible is full of this engrafted word. And man has a tendency to read or listen to the Bible and lets their imagination run wild. This is shown in the third book somewhat, more showed into the fourth book that the Father had me write. But the Bible is full of the engrafted word, and the only place we can hear that engrafted word is in the Bible, in the King James Version of the Bible. As I've told you all, in all the books that the Father's had me write, that's the only Bible that he will let me use for any reference to study. For all my Bible studies, I use the King James Version. In the first book, I tried the American Standard, I think it was, for one example, and the Father brought me right back to the King James. I left that American Standard example in the first book, and I think the Father had me do that so you all could see. He's not going to let me use any other version of the Bible. And way back then, back in 2015, when I wrote the first book, I had no idea why. I know why now. Okay? And you really got to understand the third and the fourth books to be able to understand why. But this has all been a learning process for me. Okay? This has not been something that I just woke up one day and knew it all. Yes, on my 45th birthday, I did wake up knowing what's in the first book. But it's been a learning process ever since then. I had to go through all the laws of Moses. I lost a couple jobs of it, and so forth. I went through all of it. But anyway, now I'll get back on topic. I'm getting sidetracked, as I always do. Y'all are probably familiar with that if you watched any of my other videos. Oh, I think that was John 4 there, verse 23 and 24. All right. Okay, that's what I was going to do. Well, we're going to talk tonight. Well, like I said, we're going to start out with this other witness, which to me is the biggest witness. To me, in my mind, I kind of see this as a bigger witness as to when I was in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights back in 1986. And then almost 30 years later to the day, just as the scriptures say, I was baptized with the Holy Ghost. I walked out into the wilderness, laid down my life after giving everything away to the poor and the needy. Okay? What we're getting ready to go over tonight, I do believe, is a stronger witness than that. But it's going to freak you all out. I'm going to go ahead and say that. And that just made me think of something else. I got to pause this and look for this. Because I can't remember right off the top of the head where it's at. I'll be back. Okay, that didn't take too long. All right. Now, I put this up on my website. And I'll just go ahead and click to that real quick. Jesus Christ in the Flesh. That's my website. It's not that fancy. I'm putting a lot of it on the very front page. I'm not. As I told you all in the books, I'm not that computer oriented, if you will. I'm not all that well educated. I've got a 9th grade education. As I showed you all in the second book, in the introduction, I am the foolishness of the world that our Father's bringing, that He's bringing the wise down with. You don't have to be all wise and have knowledge of thousands of books to know what God is saying. All you have to do is focus and listen to everything that He's saying in the King James Version of the Bible. Okay? So I'm not real good at computers, so I'm working with the website, but recently the Father told me I'm not writing any more books. Excuse me. I'm not writing any more books, so now I'm going to take, he says, make more videos, start making videos, and I'm going to do a little more stuff on the website, try to see if I can get it to look better, get the pages separated and so forth. I don't really know how. I won't take any kind of classes to figure it out, because in my mind that'll take time away from the Father, and I don't want to do that. So I will play around with it and try to get it the best I can. But anyway, let's go back here to where we were, back on track. Yeah. Me and my sidetracking. All right, Psalm 90, just the first 4 verses. Lord, thou hast been our dwelling place in all generations, before the mountains were brought forth, or ever thou hadst formed the earth and the world. Even from everlasting to everlasting, thou art God. Thou turnest man to destruction, and sayest, Return, ye children of men. For 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. Okay. Verse 4. I want to comment on 3, but I'm forcing myself not to on verse 3. Verse 4. For 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and yes, as a watch in the night. And as a watch in the night. Okay, now I want to look here, 2 Peter chapter 1. This is when we're being told about the prophecy. For the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. This was the Father commanding them to write them. I have heard so many people in my days saying that Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all witnessed the crucifixion of Jesus and so forth. No, they haven't. And that's what we're going to be learning tonight in a really big way. Okay? But when our Father had these holy men write the Bible, they were being told what to write. They didn't witness they weren't writing about stuff that they witnessed or that they saw. They were only writing what they were told to write. Okay? And to bring some of this up, and I'm not trying to boast on myself or anything like that, but in the first book the Father had me write back in 2015, he had me do 2 sections on Deuteronomy 28:61, that's where he's talking about bringing illnesses that are not written in the Bible upon us that will destroy us. This is the COVID-19. Back then, I didn't know there was 2 pages. One section of it's on page 72, 73, I think. The other one's on 100, page 100 to 108. I think it comes out to like 7 pages. He had me do a whole big write-up on Deuteronomy 28:61, what we're going through right now. I had no idea. That's what I mean. I didn't know this was coming back in 2015. I had absolutely no idea. But I find it, I'll say it, coincidental, but there's no such thing as a coincidence, okay? How in the heck could the Father have me write about that particular verse of the Bible, what, 6 years ago? That book was published in April of 2015. So you might as well say 6 years ago, he had me write about what's going on today. Okay? In the 3rd book, I didn't even know it until after I got the book back. In the introduction of the book, I told everybody to humble themselves, put your guard down and humble yourself. I don't remember exactly how I worded it. This is in the introduction. And I said, humble yourselves, for this is going to be a very devastating time for the whole world. This was the 3rd book, published August of 2019. First COVID-19 case discovered, unknown virus, November 17th of 2019, just a few months before that virus happened. So these guys didn't witness it. I didn't even know that in the 3rd book, when I didn't even know I put that in the introduction until I got my proof copies back, and I was looking through it, and I'm like, holy cow. I didn't realize I put that in there. It's just, So anyway, but these guys did not witness this. They were only writing what they were being told to write by our Father through the Holy Ghost. Okay? All right. Yeah, okay, I'm right. All right. Now, Ecclesiastes 3:11. He hath made everything beautiful in his time. Also have he set the world in their heart, so that no man can find out the work that God maketh, from the beginning to the end. Now, through all these books that the fathers had me write, okay, I show you what he's been doing since day one. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not joking in any way. Day one. Okay? I'll just give you a quick example. If you don't understand what that light is that God created on the very first day of creation, remember, he didn't create the sun, the moon, and the stars until the 4th day. The sun to rule the day, moon, and the stars to rule the night. What is that light that he created on the very first day that he created? Now jump to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. We are the children of the day, not the children of the night. If you don't understand how that works, I suggest getting the books. You'll get some of the knowledge off of these videos, but you will not understand it near as well as you will if you read the books. Okay? But he's had it in our hearts that we could not understand from the time of the beginning till the time of the end. We are in the time of the end. Okay? We're at the end of the world. That's why I'm here. That's the whole purpose of me being here. Okay? I'm not here for the whole world. I'm here to gather the remnant. But at the same time, anybody, my words, can jump on this train. That's a weird way to put it. Well, I'm a little silly. Oh. Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 5. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard, and wonder marvelously. For I work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told to you. I know a lot of people might be saying that's just the Old Testament. That's why we're going right over to Acts, chapter 13, 41. Behold, ye despisers, and wonder, and perish. For I work in your days, I have to get rid of the highlight. A work of which ye shall in no wise believe, though a man declare it unto you. Okay, what we're getting ready to go into is going to freak you out. I haven't given this other witness yet, by the way. I have not given this other witness. So, I know I've got to talk, yeah, whatever. All right. Okay. So here's my question to everybody and anybody that thinks, that believes that Jesus was here 2,000 years ago. We're going to Hebrews chapter 9, okay, verse 26. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. But now, once in the end of the world, have he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. Now, right here at the beginning of it, for then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world. This is where you really start to have to understand from the second book on. The Father had me show that every person on this planet, every person that's ever been on this planet, is part of Jesus, or part of the Son of God. It's like they're, as I put it in the second book, it was like they're second and the third, maybe in the fourth. It's like there's almost 8 billion little Jesuses walking around on this planet. Okay? We're all part of the one Son of God. Everybody's got their own different laws, rules, judgments, testimonies, ordinances, and commandments. Nobody has the same tune. Okay? So now, go to the second half of this. But now, once in the end of the world, have he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. Okay, many think that Jesus was here 2,000 years ago. Okay, he only appeared once in the end of the world. So, if he appeared once in the end of the world, how are we here? Why are we here? Don't make any sense to me. See, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I'm going to pause this for a minute. I feel like I'm forgetting something there. All right. I think it's still on the same timing. I'm not sure. I kind of lost track of my thoughts there and looked at the time, and I was like, I'm not sure. I'm hoping this is actually recording where I left off. Well, I got to listen to it to make sure that it is, that I'm not cutting it short somewhere. But anyway, yes, I was forgetting something. Okay, I kind of jumped ahead of myself. So, but anyway, we already asked the question how Jesus appeared once in the end of the world. How are we on this world? This is part of that engrafted word that I was talking about. What I wanted to show you is Galatians 4, verse 4 says, But when the fullness of time was come, God sent forth his Son, made of a woman, under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. Okay. See, I think I should have done the other two verses first. I don't know, maybe not. Okay. I want to jump to all right. Yeah, I should have. Because I should have put these two first. So maybe I'll go over those again after I finish these two. Okay? Okay? But we need to be listening. Remember, now God has made it so we couldn't understand things until the end. Okay? It says there in Hebrews 9 that Jesus appeared once in the end of the world. Now in Matthew 5, 17 and 18, think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Okay? Then we jump to Matthew See, I don't know. Sure, I'm getting these in the right. Matthew 24. See, that's like I got my thoughts messed up. Matthew 24, 3 through 8. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign? Excuse me. Smoker's cough. Yeah, whatever. What shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars, of rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes, and diverse places. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. Now, why did I have this in here? How did this have to do? Yes, and I saw many will come before me saying I am Christ. I know that. Okay, yep. I've showed you all that in the books. Anybody that's come before me has sought their own glory. I want no glory. I want no reward here while I'm on earth. And I don't do it for me. I'm doing what I'm told. I know many are going to say, well, you're one of those that come and say you're Christ. Well, yeah, I am one that is Christ. I've shown you all the seal on my head. I've shown you all the biblical truths. And we're getting ready to learn of another biblical truth. Okay? And I was, as it states in Matthew 12, I am the Son of Man that was in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. And as, you know, I got to bring it up now. Matthew 12. Me and my getting off track. Let's see, where's it at? Down here toward the end. Here we go. And certain of the scribes and the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall be no sign given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. That's me. 30 years later, almost to the day. I'm not going to... And now I want to show you in Luke where it says that I was baptized 30 years almost to the day. Almost 30 years old before I was baptized. See, I'm getting way off track. Now I got to find where I was. I think it was right here. Yeah, that Matthew. See, I think I kind of did those in the wrong order. I don't... Anyway. Again. Oh, wait a second. No, that was in Matthew 27. That's in Matthew 27. I want to show you that. This is something that I didn't even notice till a few weeks ago. This is right after Jesus was crucified. After he gave start with verse 50. Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain, and from the top to the bottom. And the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. I think that's what I was actually trying to think of earlier. And the graves were opened, and many bodies of bodies of the saints which slept rose and came out of the graves after his resurrection and went into the holy city up here. Now I noticed the one thing there about, they didn't come out of the graves until after his resurrection. Me and myself, I've always thought that as soon as he gave up the Holy Ghost, the sky ripped open. By the way, that's the sixth seal right there. Everybody on the planet is Jesus. Makes up the one Son of God. Everybody on the planet. Okay? That when the world ends, we're all dead. We're going to be getting into that here in a little while. Okay? When we all give up the ghost, okay, the sky is going to rip open. So more or less. Okay? Anyway, Revelation 6, I believe it is. No, I might have that wrong. Anyway, it's the sixth seal. The other 5 seals have already been done. Explained in the books. 3rd and 4th books. Alright. Well, okay, now we're going to get into this with other witness. Excuse me. Okay. I was driving, it's probably been a couple months now. Maybe not quite that long, but it's been a while. I was driving down the road, and the father just said, David, I want you to start thinking about how many years between the Old Testament and the New Testament. And this is something I've known in the back of my mind, because when the father first called me to the Bible in 2011, I read the Bible front to back twice, and and then I was gotten into that's when I got into I was going to different websites and everything else, trying to learn everything I could until, I really started to understand everything I need to know is right there in the King James Bible. Okay, but I was venturing off listening to what other men said and everything. But anyway, I knew that there was 400 years in between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Okay, so this is what I want to ask you. This is why the Father has always had me use the King James Bible. Okay, I'll just give you a short explanation of that. We talked about it earlier in the video. I'll give you a short explanation as to why he won't let me use anything but the King James Bible. Since the King James Bible has been published, man has gotten into it, interpreted it, and tried to turn it and twist the doctrine so that it would say more what man wants to hear instead of what the Father has been saying. That's why he had me name the first book, Father, Forgive Us. We haven't been listening. Everything that he has me teach is right there in the King James Bible. Oh, well, I can't show you, in between the Old Testament and the New Testament, I can't go to Bible Gateway and show you that there's 400 years between the Old Testament and the New Testament. Okay, so that's why we're doing it this way. So, when was the King James Version Bible written? 1611. If y'all haven't already heard it, I've kind of given a little bit of the engrafted word tonight, just in this short time. Alright, now, the King James Version of the Bible was published in 1611. The Father won't let me use anything but the King James Version of the Bible. This is the original Bible. First original complete Bible. Okay? Now, like I said, it's probably been close to a couple months when he showed me this. Okay? But this is something that he's had me show in all 3 books. I know for a fact it's on my videos. But I went searching, and I don't know where in the other books. This is the second book that he had me publish. And I'm not going to reread the books to try to find out where I put it in these books, because the Father's put it on my heart to get this video made, show you all this. So I'm not going to sit here and take the time to read the books, because that'll take a while. Alright, but in the second book, I could find it. The first book and the third book, and the third book's pretty much put into the fourth book, so where it's at in the third book, I'm not sure. Third and fourth books, and where it's at in the first book, I'm not even sure. I'm not positive that it's in the first book. I think it is, but I was more excited about me waking up on my 45th birthday knowing what I knew. And let me make a note on that. I did not know who I was when I wrote the first book. I had suspicions on the second book. Obviously, know the name, but just by the name of it, behold, a greater than Jonas is here. Well, Matthew 12, we just run over that. The sign, the only sign this generation will be given. Okay. And then, by the way, that backs me up to, when 1,000 years are as of but yesterday. Okay, the next 1,000 years, or when he had these guys in 1611 write the Bible, when I said they didn't witness it. Okay, but he could. Our Father's all knowing. I could go through here and show you the Bible verses showing that, but I'm not going to. Okay, we all should know that he's all knowing. If he's all knowing, he could have told those guys to write something that's going to happen 10 million years from now. We know that because he already knows what's going to happen 10 million years from now. Okay? So anyway, back in, I showed you that the King James Bible was published in 1611. Just this one paragraph here, at the bottom of page, what contacts in? Yeah, page 8, Roman numerals. And the second book here is that's an introduction. I'm going to scroll that up a little bit. All right. He has been teaching me now for a little more than 3 years. When he first called me to the Bible in 2011, I learned some of my own, and then whatever I learned from other men. Don't get me wrong. I had spent most of my life praying to our Father, but would not pick up the Bible before 2011. In 2012, I was attending a church and started seeing things differently than what the pastor was teaching. When I started to show others in the congregation of what I was seeing, I was told to either be quiet or leave by the pastor of the church. Just reading that, that's where the Father kicked me out of the church, because in the churches they teach you to judge, condemn, to think of yourself before others, to think of yourself being better than others, to think of yourself more deserving than others, and we all deserve eternal damnation. None of us deserve the grace, the love, the mercy that our Father has had on us since day one. But anyway, back in 2011 is when the Father called me to the Bible. When was the King James Bible written? 1611. 400 years before the Father called me. How many years between the Old Testament and the New Testament? 400 years. I already showed you the website. Now we're going to kind of change topics. Okay, that was the other witness I wanted to show you. And to me, in my mind, that's the strongest witness yet. And it's just kind of freaked me out when he showed me. Kind of knocked me out of my butt, if you so to speak. All right, now, 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 52. Now, I've done videos showing that Trump is the last. President Trump is the last Trump. And we're just going to kind of go over some other things. Excuse me, I'm not sure exactly. Give another swig of that. I'm not sure exactly if I've covered some of this in the other videos or not. Okay, but Trump was the last Trump. The trumpet is sounding. That trumpet is sounding above us. But there's ways we can hear it here. And, let's just read this. 1 Corinthians 15, verse 52 through 56. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruption must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall we be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the sting of sin is the law. All right, now, just to confirm a couple things on Trump being the last Trump. The trumpet is sounding above us. Our conversation, the Bible says our conversations are in heaven. We're listening or we're eavesdropping into what's being said in heaven. That trumpet that's sounding is in heaven. But as the prayer goes, our Father who art in heaven, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay, it's happening here as well as it's happening up there. So, to kind of help us hear the trumpet, let's just go look and see. Now, Trump, the day before the election, he started putting all the rhetoric out there that it was going to be stolen if he lost. The only way he would lose if it was stolen or whatever. No, don't know if God was commanding him to do what he was doing. Remember, our Father has saved even the evil man for the evil day. Okay, so we don't know who is doing right or wrong by God. If he's being commanded to do it by God, he's doing right. Showed y'all that in Jeremiah 42. I think I showed that in the other videos. Maybe I didn't, or maybe that's just in the books. Anyway, I don't want to get on too sidetracked. Right? Okay. Up until the election, October 30th, U.S. set record with nearly 100,000 new cases in one day. This was October 30th. We know the election was held on November 3rd. This was the day after the president lost the election. Trump lost the election, which makes him the last Trump. From the time he lost the election to the time, well, he's done serving now, okay? And I'll go ahead and mention that now, and we're going to touch on that in the end. But Biden is the last president, okay? And we're going to talk. So the Father just started showing me something on this today, and the message hasn't come completely through, but I felt more compelled to get this video out. Anyway, October 30th, nearly 100,000. November 4th, right after the elections, coronavirus cases exceed 100,000 in one day for the first time. They have been steadily climbing ever since. We could probably find that in here too. Anyway, I don't want to take time on it. I mean, if you listen to any of the news, just go to the CDC website or anything. You can find out that the cases have been climbing exponentially, and we're still getting well over 100,000 a day. New cases a day. There's actually been days that we've gotten, I don't know if we've hit the 300,000 mark yet or not, cases a new day. But at the same time, the president was always this conspiracy or whatever you want to say on the election, and here's my 2 cents worth on that. There's a lot of people that say the states, I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all right now, I don't vote. It's not up to man, okay? It's the Father. Everybody's a servant. Everybody's a vessel of God, and it's our Father telling people's conscience who to vote for and whatnot. This is pretty much explained in the books too. Okay, so I don't vote. It's up to the Father. And Trump being prophesied in the Bible at the last Trump, okay, now he if anybody stole the election, it was the Father. He's the one who took it away from Biden, or took it away from Trump and gave it to Biden. So anyway, I'm rambling on here. What do I have here next? Okay, which all this rhetoric that Trump was about the election being stolen. Now, this, as I explained in previous videos, is explained in the book. The first 3 contractions, the COVID-19, economic turmoil throughout the world, the racial tensions, and I guess there's still racial tensions throughout the world on that too. These are all labor pains. Now, the mob attack incited by Trump, whatever. Excuse me. That happened on January 6th. When this went down, the Father told me, you're in the midst of another contraction. Now, I'm not sure what that means. But, well, let me explain. Yeah, I do know what that means. I guess I kind of misspoke there. I do know what that means. Yes, we are in the midst of another contraction. But I don't, here's what I meant. Here's what I was trying to say when I said I don't know what that means. I don't think the contraction's over yet. Okay? Because he told me we're in the midst of another contraction. This would be contraction 4. Now, as I stated in the books, I probably stated on the videos, it's going to get worse. Okay? Now, I don't know exactly what's going on, what's getting ready to happen, but something's getting ready. I'm not sure if the contraction's over and now we're just going to meddle in the labor pains and things are going to change in a big bad way for everybody. I don't know. Okay? But that was the next contraction. And you really have to watch the other videos, read the books to understand book 4. You'll only understand that from reading book 4. You will not get that understanding from any of the other books. All right? But anyway, now we're getting back onto this 1 Corinthians 15:52. And actually, I need to back up. Okay. Now, I know a lot of people think that means in 52 it says, in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised in trouble. There's a lot of people that think that means rapture, because they stop right there. That's it. That's all the further they read. They see that in a twinkling of an eye. As I've told you all in other videos, and I've showed you in the book, a twinkling of an eye for us is a fraction of a second. A twinkling of our eye in our Father's world, I think, could be around 5 months. Actually, I'm going to pause this and I'm going to show you why I think it could be 5 months. Okay, told you it's got 5 months. Why I think that twinkling of an eye is 5 months. Like I said, man frames time. We frame it down to the second, from the minute, from the hour, from the day, from the week, from the month, from the year, from the decade, from the century, even the millennium. We frame time. Time in our Father's world is greatly expanded. We are only in their image. They have hours, they have weeks, they have months above us. That's explained in the 4th book. 102-page chapter on let us make man in our own image. It really gives you a different understanding of what that means. Okay? But I believe the twinkling of an eye is 5 months. And yes, I couldn't remember exactly where in Revelation it was. So I had to look it up. Revelation 9. We're going to go through 1 through 6, and yes, I know this one has been done, but it's more recent than what you all think, and this is something I will not reveal to you. I will say you'll understand it when you read the books, especially the 4th. you'll understand. I think you'll get a better comprehension of that. Okay, Revelation 9, 1 through 6. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth. These are spiritual locusts, by the way. Spiritual. This is all spiritual. Remember, the hour is that we must worship God in spirit. Okay? Back to verse 3. And there came out the smoke of the smoke locust upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither either green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as a torment of a scorpion when he stingeth a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and the death shall flee from them. Now, we're kind of going to be getting into that, what we're getting ready to talk to. But I do believe that twinkling of an eye, because it's the last trump, the trumpet is sounding. Okay? I think that is 5 months. I don't know if that's 5 of our months or 5 of their months. I'm not sure, because I'm not the father, as many. No, don't go there. Don't go there. All right, but now, let me get back to 1 Corinthians 52. All right, like I was talking about, many think that this is about a rapture. Not about a rapture, because listen to what we're being told. Verse 53, right after we hear this, that in a twinkling of an eye the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Okay? If that was supposed to be about a rapture or something of that sort, why would it immediately tell us, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality? So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. Excuse me. Now, if you're going to get raptured on, if you're going to get raptured or whatever, why must you put on this incorruption? Or why must you put on this immortality? Would you, you're not going anywhere. So what we need to do is we need to look up the definition of corruptible and incorruption, and look up the definition of mortal and immortality. Me, like everyone, I really didn't understand what corruptible meant for a long time. So anyway, E-sword, we're going to E-sword. Oh, I got to get to 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Let's go down here to verse 50, 53, 52, in the moment of a twinkle of an eye, okay? The dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Okay, now, to understand the dead shall be raised, okay, you can be alive, your blood pumping, you're breathing air, you're walking, but still dead. Okay, when Matthew, and I'm not going to show it tonight, but in that parable where Jesus said, when disciples were talking about following him, and Jesus, one of them said, "Let me go bury my father first," and Jesus said, "Let the dead bury the dead." Okay, obviously, and this is something that the Father has had me bring attention to in all the books. Okay, but you can be alive and breathing if you don't see the light. You don't truly understand or truly desire to have the Father in your life, the Father of the Old Testament, the Father of the whole entire Bible, the Father of everybody, every living soul on this planet. If you don't really have him in your life, you're walking dead because you're not seeing him. You're not seeing the love that he has had for you and everybody else at the same time. Okay? That's what the dead doesn't mean you're actually physically dead and in the grave. Okay? The Father's had me show that in the books. Okay, we can be alive as graves. As a grave. We can be alive, breathing, blood pumping, heart beating, and still be alive as a grave. Okay? Or be dead as a grave. That's what Jesus was talking about. Let the dead bury the dead. Okay? More so to understand that, now in the fourth book, the Father had me show that this world is covered with a spiritual flood. That flood is named Egypt. Jeremiah 46. Okay, that flood's named 46 or 42. I don't know. I get them backwards. Whatever. Okay, but that's the flood that I seen from 32,000 feet. Okay, that is our mother's womb. Galatians 4. Okay, she's above us. Okay, that is our mother's womb. Everybody's part of the Son of God. We're all getting ready to be born into the next world. Okay, that we're leaving this world. Our time here on this world is about done. But anyway, what we have to do, what we must do, notice that word, we must. For the corruptible must put on incorruption. So let's look up the definition of corruptible. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Okay? Corruptible. Whoops. Greek, in the concordance, 5351. Decay, that is, by implication, perishable. Okay? Many people out here are afraid of dying. Man has taught that we have to do whatever we can to live. You know, I kind of touched on this in the chapter, or in the video of the mark of the beast, the vaccines and so forth. You're spiritually telling the Father you'd rather stay here in Satan's world, Satan's kingdom. Okay, that's where you're at. No matter what you want to believe it or not, you are. You're in hell. This is Satan's world, Satan's kingdom. There's nothing we can do about it. That's where you're at, unless the Bible's a lie. Anyway, okay, corruptible. You think you're perishable. So let's look up the definition of incorruptible, or must have put on incorruption. So let's look the definition of that up. Come back down here. We go to incorruptibility, generally unending existence. Figuratively, oh gosh, embarrass myself. Whatever. Immortality, incorruption, sincerity. Yeah, well, not that well educated. All right. I'm not genuineness. Yeah, genuineness. I guess it would be. Let's look up mortality. Must put on incorruption, and this mortal is what? Liable to die. Mortal. Shall have put on immortality. Let's look up the definition of immortality. From a compound of, as a negative particle, and deathlessness. Immortality. Okay? Now, let's look at this again. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, knowing that our soul, yeah, our flesh is going to die, but our soul never dies. Okay, give it a quick existence that Jesus is forever. Okay? Right? The Son of God is forever. God always is, always has been, always will be. Just go to, bear with me here for a second. Colossians 3. Verse. Wherefore there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision or uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and in all. Now, if Christ is, always has been, always will be, just as his Father, Christ is in you. I mean, unless the Bible lies, it says it right here. Christ is all and in all. Christ is in you. Christ is in all. That means Christ never dies. Your soul doesn't die. So now's the time to put on immortality. We're coming to the end of the world. Every one of us must die. The flesh dies. The soul never dies. Never, never dies. You know, it's up to us. Matthew 7 verse 12, do unto other men as you would have other men do unto you. This is the law on the prophets. You know, that's where our life will be next when our soul moves on to the next world. All right, I'm getting way off track here. Where was I? Yeah, that was Revelation in 5 months. Now, I wanted to show a few verses to show that our life here is just for a short time. Okay, we are right here in the first one. That's 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 17. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. Now, I want to look up, I'm going to do this live here, the definition. I have not looked this up. 1 Peter 1:17, we're going to look that up on e-coordinates. 1 Peter chapter 1 17. What is the definition of sojourning? Let's see here. Pass your time. I was wondering why the Father wanted me to bring this one up tonight. Sojourning. Definition. I don't know how to pronounce it there in Greek. Paroikia, I'm not sure. Foreign residence. We're only here temporarily. That's it. We're only here temporarily. We're not here forever. Our soul lives forever. And that's what we must realize. We must put on incorruptible, and we must put on immortality. We must realize that all things are fulfilled now. That's why I'm here. It's all coming to an end. We got to stop worrying about dying. Stop, all this vaccines, that's not going to do anything. It's not going to help you. It don't matter who takes the vaccine or not. You're still going to die. Okay? This world is getting ready to understand that everybody is getting ready to die. Then you all will understand what Revelation 9 is about the bottomless pit being opened up. Okay? All right. Well, let's look at a few more. Job 14. When that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble. He cometh forth like a flower and is cut down. He fleeth also as a shadow and continueth not. I want to read any more of that. Anyway, we're just going through a few verses to show that our lives are just a short time here. We're just, what I just showed you, we're just visitors. We're not here permanently. Okay? We're just visiting. We're getting ready to go into the next world. Okay, and we're going to be touching on that here in just a minute. All right, Psalm 90. For all the days are passed away in thy wrath. We spend our years as a tale that is told. I don't really correlate with our lives being here, just us being visitors and so forth. Yeah. Psalm 144, verse 4, man is like to vanity, his days are as a shadow that passeth away. We're just here for a short time. Who cares about dying? You know, and I've told you all that before. And in this time frame that I thought I was supposed to be writing another book, that's exactly how I was going to tell everybody. Don't let the door hit me on the bye. You know, if I come down sick with this virus, I'll go off to one little corner of the world, you know, and I made that public confirmation and proclamation in the 4th book that I won't seek any medical attention. If I start running a temperature, I will just wander off. I'll call the company and say I got to quarantine for a couple weeks. If I die, don't let the door hit me on the butt, on the behind on the way out, because I'm done here. That means I have fulfilled everything I need to fulfill, and I get to move on to the next world, and I get to receive all the rewards for what I've done by our Father's commandments. And then I start schooling in the next level over there. Okay, Matthew 12, verse 32. And whosoever speaketh a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speaketh against the Holy Ghost, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come. You're only here for a short time. Your soul will live forever. You're going to the next world. Your soul is. Don't worry about this body. These bodies wear out. Our souls don't. Ephesians 1, verse 21. Far above all principality and power and might and dominion, and every name that is named, not only in this world, but also in that which is to come. Yeah, that's talking about Jesus. That's everybody on the planet. Okay? Okay? Yes, all right, 1 verse 20, which he wrought in Christ when he raised him from the dead and set him at his own right hand in the heavenly places. Okay. I explained this in the chapter, Let Us Make Man in Our Own Image. Okay, but at the same time, when I laid down my life back in 2016, March 8th, March 9th, okay, that's when the Father took over. The invisible Spirit of Jesus Christ, Colossians 1, Jesus is in the image of the invisible God. Okay, that's when the invisible God took over. Okay, well, the Father's, in my mind, is sitting here right with me. I've had people comment on this. You know, they say, I like how you talk to him like he's right there. Talk about him like he's right there. And it's because he is. He's right here with me, holding my hand all the time. So, and if you want to... if you want to relate how he put me in heavenly places, I'll go ahead and say this. As the Bible, as I've shown you all in the books and the other videos, we're told that our conversations are in heaven. So when we read or listen, it's like we're eavesdropping to what they're saying up in heaven. So I kind of feel like I'm on a different plane, if you will, different level. And I don't mean that to boast or anything, but I hear things that prophets have desired to see and hear for many generations. So it's like, am I here or am I not? I know I am, but part of me feels like I'm with the Father all the time, and the Father's not really here. That can be seen, but yet I feel like he's right here with me at all times. I don't know if that really makes sense to you all or not. To me, it does. But to explain it, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. We're about done. Oh, this is where I want to talk about in Revelation 17. I think it was verse 0. All right. This is Biden is the last president. All right. Now, this is something the Father, I was just driving down the road today, and All of a sudden the Father says, David, start thinking about Revelation, about the king that was and is not. Or anyway, that's kind of like how I was thinking, where is that at? I knew it was in Revelation, but I couldn't remember where. So we're in Revelation 17. Okay. We'll start with verse 8. We're just going to go down here to verse 8. I think we'll go down to verse. I don't know, 12 or 13, somewhere around there. The beast that thou sawest was, and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. And there is a mind. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are the 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Now, I will tell you this, and I've showed this in the book. The woman, that's in the second book, the woman that sitteth on the 7 mountains, the 7 mountains are the 7 continents. Okay, I know that. The 7 mountains are the 7 continents. The woman is Babylon. She sits on this. Everybody's in Babylon. Okay? And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And there are the 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet to come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. I read that verse twice, I know. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and go into perdition. Okay, now, I think this has something to do with Biden. Like I said, he just brought this to my mind today, so this is fresh on my mind. It's something that's coming in, and it will be in the next few days. I know that. He will give me understanding of that, because I will seek his wisdom at all times. Okay, because he's the Almighty, all-knowing. I'm not. He is. But anyway, something there. Biden was, then was not, and he is again. He wasn't the president, but he was the vice president. Okay? Then he was not. And now he is again. There's something there that correlates with this, and I'm not sure what it is. I mean, I know they have their kings above us. Okay? Then we have the prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, thy holy is thy name. Hallowed is thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So if it's happening up there, it's happening down here. So there's something with Biden being the one that was, that is not, and is come. And Biden was the vice president, then he was nothing, and now he's the president. So I'm thinking that has something to do with that. I know he's the last president. For those that have the ears to hear, it was back in 2015 when the Father first started teaching me all this, teaching me the really hardcore stuff. 2011 when he first called me to the Bible. I don't know the day or hour. He won't tell me, but I know we're in the season. I'll just put it that way. I know Biden is the last president, and I know he's not going to serve that. He's not going to be president long. That's what we're being told here. Not sure exactly how to connect that with the rest of the Bible yet. The Father will show me. Okay? It might have something to do with all these vaccines. They're really trying to pump out these vaccines, trying to make everybody save their lives. Okay? And really push this, don't die, don't die, don't die. that's how he's going to fall into perdition. You know, the death cannot be, we can't worry about that. We're just visiting. We're here to fulfill a role explained in the second book. We're here just to fulfill a role, nothing less, nothing more. Do as our Father commanded us to do, and all will be well, whether it be good or evil. If the Father commands you to do it, it's good with him. All right, well, anyway, I think I kind of covered a little more than I thought I was going to, but I think I covered, well, whatever. I'll be making more videos because that's what the Father told me to do. We'll talk to y'all later. I would really like you to, you know, I noticed I picked up a couple more subscribers. It would really be nice if y'all would leave me some comments. If I hope in these videos I'm explaining everything well enough, but I would really appreciate y'all at least letting me know, hey, am I explaining it well enough that you can understand it? Or give me some questions if you don't understand something. You know, I can answer any question you have about the King James Bible. Not about other books that are written about the Bible, but you want to know anything about the King James Bible, I will show you the truth. And the truth shall set you free. I appreciate it. We'll talk to y'all later.